All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from. And salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with the 144,000 on down. So this lesson is going into a cheerful heart is good medicine, right? We know the word heart in Hebrew is lab, which means mind, okay? And this is going into your health, right? Because I speak about this here and there because it's very important that we don't go into this mode of bitterness, resentment, depression, right? Even though we feel these things, anxiety, you can't dwell on it. You gotta let it roll off, right? You gotta try to treat your vessel the best you can. That's why brothers are eating better and taking herbs, taking other supplements, and learning about health, learning about their body. Or else what's the point, right? This is Proverbs 17:22 AMP. It says a happy heart is good medicine and a joyful mind causes healing. Because if your body is in constant fight or flight, stress, your cortisol, which is a hormone that pretty much, after a while, you want to lose weight, you're not going to lose that stubborn body fat. Okay, when your cortisol is high, your body can actually create or rise your blood sugar. So you're in a state of what do you call that? Insulin. You got insulin sensitivity, but pretty much you're in a state of your insulin being at risk, because your insulin is produced by your pancreas, and how you get type 2 diabetes is because your insulin is always up. So your body gets tired, man. Your body gets drained. Okay, your pancreas stops producing it how it usually does, and if you keep fucking around, you're gonna get type 1 diabetes, which is your body don't produce insulin at all. So there's all kinds of sugar just in your bloodstream. That's why you need them insulin shots, or you're gonna die. Right? So it's no joke, man. But a broken spirit dries up the bones. Right? Let me see. Let me look up this word medicine. All right, gaha. A cure, a healing. Right? We can't use that word cure, but a cure. Right? To depart from what? Illness, sickness. Right? A bandage from a wound, i.e. heal it. So again, if you even trick your mind into being happy, that's why Yahweh Shai even said, when you're fasting, don't appear as if you're fasting, because it's twofold. Obviously, you don't want to appear like you're fasting for people. You fast for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. He knows what you're doing. They know what you're doing. But also, it's a side benefit is you trick your own body. Oh, we're good. And anoint your face, anoint your head, okay, and go out in the world, right? Wash your face, anoint your head, okay. Don't appear as if you're mourning and you're fasting, right? So let me get into some information real quick. This is from Grok, right, about the physiology of it, how it actually happens. Physiologically, there is a surprisingly literal sense in which a cheerful mind can be medicine. It doesn't mean happiness cures disease by itself. Rather, your mental and emotional state continuously influences your nervous, endocrine, cardiovascular, immune, and digestive systems. A cheerful mind shifts the nervous system, which is where a lot of trauma hides. The main thing is your nervous system. Okay? That's why you have something called TRE, which is trauma release exercises, right? It's very popular right now. A lot of trauma is actually stored in the body physically. Okay? And people, that's why even when you get a very good massage, some people cry. You know, because halfway because of the pain, but also the emotional pain that's being released because all the blockages. It's not just physical pain, it's emotional trauma and pain. People cry and then they have, after that, yes, you feel physically relieved, but you also feel emotionally relieved. You feel like you got some baggage, um, lifted off you, an emotional baggage. So it's very important to understand that this stuff is literally, you carry these things, man, in your body. And it's acidity, it builds up. Negative emotions, a recurring pattern, right? Habits. It says, when you experience genuine joy, gratitude, amusement, affection, or contentment, the brain tends to reduce the dominance of the stress response. That's why Paul said, I've learned to be content in whatever situation, I'm in, pretty much, whether I be abased or whether I abound. And he said, I have figured out the secret of life, which is contentment, pretty much, being in the now, in the present state of mind. It's all a state of mind, really, right? You can have a can of sardines for dinner and still be grateful that you're eating something nutritious, something healthy, and you're getting full. Or you can be a bitter motherfucker. It's all about state of mind and perspective, man. All right, if you really know, in this ministry, it's not a picnic, and you're gonna suffer and endure. That's a state of mind. That puts you in a comforting place, right? Or else you're gonna bug out. Why me type of spirit, right? It says chronic stress keeps the sympathetic nervous system and hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, right, HPA axis activated, which is it's like a connection. These there's a hypothalamus. It's a three-way connection. It's like a triangle, right? Your hypothalamus gland, your pituitary gland, and your adrenal gland, dealing with stress. A calmer, positive emotional state promotes greater parasympathetic activity. We don't want sympathetic. We want parasympathetic, which is the rest, digest, repair side of the nervous system. So you can literally trick your mind into that mode, and that's where you heal. People can't even heal. People don't realize why they can't heal is because they're actually in a constant state of fight or flight, and your body doesn't heal, even if you sleep. That's why you wake up, you're tired. you wake up, you're drained. You need coffee, you need an energy drink, you need an espresso, right? Because your body didn't rest. You slept, but you didn't rest. Things aren't as they seem sometimes, right? Your body literally has to enter rest and digest and enter that REM sleep cycle that they talk about, rapid eye movement, right? Which there's even levels of that. But it says that can mean lower resting heart rate, more stable blood pressure, right? If your cortisol is high too, that means your blood pressure is high, or you might even have heart arrhythmia, which is irregular beats. And there's so many factors, man. If you're already stressful and you're drinking energy drinks and taking a lot of caffeine, that's a downward spiral. You got to be careful. Improved digestion, better sleep, reduce muscle tension, greater physiological recovery. Okay, in biblical language, the opposite is the broken spirit, a person psychologically crushed by grief, fear, bitterness, or hopelessness can remain physiologically stressed even while sitting perfectly still, because it's living in your body. It's literally stuck in your body. It's like blockages, right? You have meridians, which are like energy channels. It's a blockage. Okay? Whenever you have these negative thoughts and emotions, this creates acidity in the body. Right? Number 2, it affects hormones and inflammation. Persistent psychological stress can alter cortisol regulation and immune activity when stress becomes chronic, right? Meaning continual. You're literally waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep, day in, day out, in this mode. This is a terrible way to live, right? And I can say that because I've lived this way, until you get some awareness, you know, and you start working on yourself in the spirit. Number one is the spirit, man. Brothers, if you're really in a hole, fast. Literally fast and cry into the Lord, man. Start mortifying your members, start killing the flesh, man. Okay? And then start looking into herbs and different therapies. Like I always push breath work and I always push walking. Okay, 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, me personally, I've been walking lately for 2-3 hours because it's medicinal for me, you know, especially by the water, right? But start walking, man. 30 minutes. 30 minutes ain't shit, and you're gonna feel better, right? It says positive emotional. It's like when stress becomes chronic, inflammatory processes can become dysregulated. Positive emotional experiences don't simply turn inflammation off, but they can help regulate the stress systems that influence immune function, right? So you may need herbs as well as your positive outlook in your whatever you're doing, right? This is one reason social connection, laughter, hope, and emotional security are associated with better health outcomes. And guess what? Today, in today's world, is not happening a lot of. What is missing? Social connection, because you got social media. Your social, connection is through a medium, which is via what I'm holding in my hand, or your laptop. Okay. People don't socialize now, and that brings cheerfulness. Like when we're with the brothers, when I'm among the brothers, we're actually talking, we're discoursing, we're having godly discourse, we're laughing, and it feels like therapy. Every time I leave, it feels good. Every time you come to camp, it feels good because it's a godly discourse, and you're socializing with brothers. You're talking, you're listening, you're bringing out points, you're looking up things. Okay. Laughter, hope. We're prisoners of hope, right? The book of Romans. And emotional security associated with better health outcomes. The mind isn't separate from the body. The brain is one of the body's major regulatory organs. It affects the heart directly. Your emotional state affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls heart rate and vascular tone. A cheerful, relaxed state can increase heart rate variability, the normal variation between heartbeats, which is generally associated with better autonomic flexibility. Think of it this way: a healthy nervous system can accelerate when necessary and then return to peace when the danger has passed. A lot of people, like I said, they're just living in that fight or flight. That's why when someone cuts them off, they're ready to crash out because they're already tipping off the fucking edge. Because their heart rate's jacked, their blood sugar's up. I'm sure if they get their heart rate measured, which they don't, and their blood sugar checked, it is off the roof. Their inflammation is high as fuck. So they're ready to crash out, brother. They are ready to crash out. When a calm person, something happens, they might turn up, and then boom, they're back to balance. Chronic anxiety and stress can keep the psychological accelerator pressed down. It improves behavior, which compounds the effect. There's another layer that Proverbs captures beautifully. A person with a hopeful, cheerful disposition is often more likely to eat reasonably, exercise, sleep adequately, maintain relationships, engage socially, persist through difficulty, seek help when sick, recover from setbacks. Those behaviors themselves are powerful medicine. So the medicine isn't merely some mysterious chemical release when you smile. The mind influences physiology, and physiology influences behavior, creating a feedback loop. So as you see, you have free medicine vis-a-vis your attitude, your thoughts, which we don't control our thoughts, but you got to rebuke them negative thoughts in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Like I said, if you're really crazy things are going on, the best thing to do is be still, fast, pray. Be still. Don't run around. Don't be anxious. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. What is this? 30:21 in the GNT? Yeah, GNT. Don't deliberately torture yourself by giving into depression. Happiness makes for a long life and makes it worth living. Enjoy yourself and be happy. Of course, men of the Lord, it's a whole different lot we're in. But that's why there's times and moments, okay? And you got to take advantage of it. Brothers work, they fulfill their duties in this ministry. You have 30 minutes to an hour to do something for yourself. Okay? You got to make that time. Right? Brothers say, I don't got time to walk. Yes, you do. You got time to do something good. You have 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Right? Enjoy yourself and be happy. Don't worry all the time. Worry never did anybody any good, and it has destroyed many people. That's why when somebody worries too much, their lungs get affected and they start coughing. That coughing is a worry cough. It's affecting your lungs in a negative way. Different emotions affect different organs. I bring this out frequently. Okay? Verse 24, it will make you old before your time. Jealousy and anger will shorten your life. Because anger affects your liver in a negative fashion. Right? Verse 25, a cheerful person with a good attitude will have a good appetite and enjoy his food. Okay? Real quick, let me get this. This is Proverbs 14, and we'll start at 29. He, in the AMP, he who is slow to anger has great understanding and profits from his self-control. Right? Like, think about it. In the world, man, these people are crazy. And think about how many times your self-control benefited you. Like, God damn, I'm glad I just, I drove off, or, I walked away, or... Because you be reading these stories and you see these social media posts and these people are really crashing out, man. And it is not even worth it. What did Yahushua say in Matthew 5, I believe? 25? Agree with thine adversary while thou art in the way with him. Quickly. Or swiftly, right? But in a lack of people, self-control, but he who is quick-tempered exposes and exalts his foolishness for all to see. A calm and peaceful and tranquil heart is life and health to the body, but passion and envy are like rottenness to the bones. NLT says a peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer in the bones. That's one of the commandments. Thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not envy. Simple. You ever notice that when you were jealous of something or envied, you literally feel like you're tight everywhere in your chest and your whole body. You're just constricted. Right? It's like strangling you. And you have people that literally live like that. They see a woman they like with a guy, they get jealous. They see some shoes they like, they get jealous. They see a car, they get jealous. That's how they live their life. It's fucking crazy. That was pretty much it. So, yeah, that was it. Take your health seriously. It's your vessel, right? So we gotta try to optimize as best as we can in this hell that we're in. Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rachak Shalom to the elect.